At 1:07 a.m., I answered a 911 call from my own mobile number. The phone was still in my pocket. The man on the line had my voice, right down to the small click I make before I speak. And he said, "My name is Daniel Mercer. I work in this room. I've been missing for 12 minutes. Before I touched the keyboard, a missing person incident opened on my screen, with my name entered as both the caller and the subject. I looked down at my hands. For a second, I thought I had hit a shortcut without noticing. We used a computer-aided dispatch system that could pull information from address records, previous calls, and registered phone numbers. It was fast, but it did not create incidents without an operator. The call timer ran in the top corner. 0:12. The man breathed into the line. Behind me, a chair rolled back. "Did you just say your own name?" Nina asked. The voice in my headset said, "Nina is standing up now." I turned. Nina, the overnight supervisor, was already on her feet. Callum sat at the fire dispatch position at the far end of the room. He glanced over, then returned to his monitors. I pulled my phone from my pocket. The screen lit normally. No active call. No missed call. Full signal. The emergency line remained connected through my headset. "Who is this?" I asked. "My name is Daniel Mercer." "That's my name." "I know." He sounded tired rather than frightened. There was no performance in it, no hesitation while he tried to decide how I was supposed to react. "What is your location?" "I'm inside the dispatch center." "So am I." "No," he said. "You are at your desk." I read the incident window. Caller, Daniel Mercer. Incident, missing person. Subject, Daniel Mercer. Last known location, Central Dispatch Center. More information appeared beneath it. Male, 31, 180 centimeters, brown hair, grey uniform shirt, scar below right rib. My shirt was buttoned. Nobody at work knew about the scar. "Where exactly are you?" I asked. "Under the radios." A low electrical hiss sat behind his voice, the constant dry sound you hear near powered equipment. "Which room?" "It says Radio Core B." Our building had a ground floor, an operations floor, and a rooftop plant area. There was no basement. The map window opened by itself. A marker appeared beneath the center of the building. Radio Core B. I moved the cursor over it. The floor plan flickered and disappeared. The caller said, "There's a broken cable clip under your keyboard." I reached beneath the tray. A small black clip had cracked beside one of the mounting screws. I had never noticed it before. "You can see this room." "No." "Then how do you know that?" "Because I already checked." "From where?" He did not answer. Nina came closer behind me. The caller lowered his voice. "Don't let them mark me located." "Who?" The line went dead. There should have been a tone. Instead, The sound simply stopped. The timer froze at 1 minute and 7 seconds. Nina leaned over my side of the console. Was that a training call? I showed her the number. She looked at my phone, then at the incident. Did you open this? No. Callum called across the room. Open what? Nina told him to remain on fire dispatch and open the event history on her terminal. The missing person incident had been created at 12:55 a.m., 12 minutes before the call arrived. The first note read, "Subject last observed at assigned workstation." I was still sitting there. Nina refreshed the event. The timestamp did not change. "Could be a routing fault," she said, "or a spoofed number attached to an old record." "There is no old record." "You've never called emergency?" "Not from this phone." She selected callback. My phone did not ring. Instead, the original emergency line on my console illuminated. I did not answer it. A note appeared in the incident. Callback attempt unsuccessful. Then another. Subject's mobile device remains at last known location. Nina picked up my phone and tried again. The same line flashed on my console. The phone in her hand remained silent. She opened the security camera covering our row. On the video, my chair was pushed beneath the desk. The seat cushion was compressed. My headset cable rose from the console and ended in empty air. I was not there. Nina enlarged the image. I raised my hand. Nothing appeared. I waved both arms. My sleeves pulled and folded around shapes the camera refused to show. "Stand up," Nina said. I stood. On the camera, the chair rolled backwards by itself. I lifted my water bottle. The bottle rose from the desk with no hand around it. Nina watched it move across the screen. "Put it down." I set it back on the console. The CAD issued a single chime. A new note appeared. Unexplained movement observed at last known location. Neither of us had entered it. Nina closed the camera feed. "I'm cancelling the job." The close option was disabled on my terminal. I tried to change the event to a false report. A red message appeared. "Subject cannot modify active search." "Move," Nina said. She opened the incident from her own console and closed it. The screen cleared. Less than a second later, the event returned with a different reference number and a red border, transferred from East Metro Emergency Communications. East Metro was a separate center 20 kilometers away. Nina called them directly. While she waited for someone to answer, the event history updated. Unit 214 assigned. The police dispatcher 2 rows away removed one side of her headset. "I didn't assign 214. The status changed again. Search initiated. A staff directory panel remained open on the side of my screen. It refreshed and my photograph disappeared. I searched my surname. No employee found. East Metro answered. Nina read the reference number to them, listened, then looked at me. "They say the call originated here." It didn't. "They have the recording." A file arrived in the incident attachments. Nina played it. The recording began with a normal connection tone. Then my voice. "This is Daniel at the Central. What is the address of the emergency?" The caller answered, "My name is Daniel Mercer. I work in this room. I've been missing for 12 minutes. My side of the conversation was exactly as I remembered. Underneath it, almost hidden by compression, was another voice. Mine, again. It repeated each of my questions half a second before I asked them. Nina stopped the recording. Unit 214 requested a physical description. Nina hesitated before transmitting. Male, 31 years old, approximately 180 centimeters, brown hair, grey Central Dispatch uniform shirt. The black monitor beside my workstation had gone to sleep. Its dark surface reflected the room. My reflection was there, but it did not look right. Its face was thinner. The skin beneath its eyes was dark, and one side of its hair was pressed flat, as though it had been lying against something. I touched my cheek. The reflection lifted its hand first. I froze. It lowered its hand while mine was still against my face. Nina continued the description. Last seen at his assigned console. The reflected version of me turned its head toward the service corridor. I did not. When the transmission ended, the monitor awoke by itself. The reflection vanished beneath the login screen. "Daniel?" Nina said. I looked at her. She was watching me normally. "What? You went pale." I told her what I had seen. She opened a paper incident pad and wrote in block letters, "Daniel is standing beside me." She added the time and signed beneath it. "Something electronic is wrong," she said. "That isn't the same as you being gone." The operations door buzzed as someone returned from break. I walked over and pressed my badge to the reader. Amber light. Person not on site. I tried again. Same message. The door should always have opened from inside. I pushed the exit bar. It did not move. Nina used her badge. The door unlocked. She held it open while I stepped through. The moment I reached the threshold, it swung shut hard enough to strike my shoulder. Nina pulled me backwards. At the far end of the short corridor, the service elevator chimed. The doors opened. The display showed B. There was no B level. Inside, the control panel had 3 buttons. 2, 3, B. The B button was illuminated. I stepped close enough to interrupt the sensor. The doors closed on my forearm. I jerked it back. They reopened and immediately tried again. Nina dragged me away by the sleeve. The elevator closed. A moment later, it reopened. B remained lit. Unit 214 called over the radio. "Central, confirm last known location." I returned to my console and transmitted. Unit 214, cancel response. This is a technical fault. The subject is present and safe. My microphone indicator lit. The officer answered. "Central, say again. We copied a mail saying he's underneath the building." Nina replayed the radio traffic. My transmission was absent. The caller's exhausted voice said, "I'm still underneath you. The CAD updated. Subject possibly confined below last known location. I disconnected my headset. The radio transmitted again. I'm still underneath you. The headset lay unplugged on the desk. At 1:29 a.m., Unit 214 arrived. 2 officers entered the operations room. I recognized the senior officer, Hale, from previous jobs. Her partner was younger and kept one hand near his radio while he scanned the room. I walked toward them. You need to stop updating the case, I said. Every time you log something, it changes another system. Neither officer looked at me. Hale spoke to Nina. Where was he last physically seen? Here, Nina said. At that console. I'm standing here. Hale looked through me at my chair. Her partner stepped into my shoulder. The impact turned me sideways. He stumbled and glanced back. I thought he had felt me. His eyes dropped to his sleeve. The fabric had caught beneath my hand and stretched toward me. I grabbed his forearm. 5 depressions appeared in the uniform. The officer stared at them. What is that? He pulled away. His arm moved through my grip, but he never looked at my face. Nina looked toward me. Daniel? Yes. Her eyes moved slightly to my left. Daniel, speak. I'm speaking. She turned to Hale. Did you say my name? The CAD chimed. Possible subject movement detected inside operations. Nina blinked. Then she stopped seeing me. It happened without transition. 1 second, she was searching for my face. The next, her attention slid around the space where I stood. I picked up the paper pad. Daniel is standing beside me. I held it in front of her. She watched the page floating in the air and stepped back. Hale took it from my hand. Nina stared at her own signature. I didn't write that. It's your handwriting, Hale said. Nina looked unsettled. It must have been earlier. The time says 1:23. She had written it less than 10 minutes earlier. I don't remember. The system logged the page as an unverified message recovered from the last known location. I went to my console and typed, I am still here. The words disappeared. A moment later, the case history updated. Digital message received from missing subject. The system treated everything I did as another message from the missing man. The officers began searching the floor. I crossed to the main network cabinet and pulled the CAD connection. Every workstation lost its map for half a second. Then my missing person incident opened across all of them. The red bordered window filled each screen. The network disconnection was logged as deliberate interference connected to the search. Hale requested another unit and a dog handler. That was the only serious attempt I made to disable it. I understood what would happen if I kept trying. Every action gave them another reason to continue. The dog arrived at 1:41. It was a shepherd mix with a black muzzle. Calm and focused. The handler gave it my jacket. I stood directly in front of the animal while it smelled the sleeve. Its nose passed centimeters from my stomach. It never looked up. The handler gave a command. The dog pulled toward my desk. I stepped into its path. Its chest hit my knee. It adjusted around me without losing pace, as if I were a chair someone had moved. It circled my workstation twice and lay beneath it. The handler looked at Hale. "Trail ends here." Nina folded her arms. "He didn't leave the building?" "Dog says he didn't leave the chair." I knelt in front of it and placed my hand against its nose. The dog inhaled. Warm air moved over my fingers. It smelled through me. The handler entered the result into the incident. Scent trail terminates at subject's workstation. My phone vibrated in my pocket. I took it out. Face not recognized. I tried my fingerprint. Owner unavailable. Not fingerprint failed. Owner unavailable. My unplugged headset began ringing. Nobody else reacted. I placed it over one ear. 911. The caller breathed once. "They brought the dog." "Where are you?" "Where they're going to find me." "Are you me?" There was a long pause. "I was when they found me." I watched Hale study the building map beside Nina. "What happens when they mark you located?" "They stop looking." "That's what you wanted." "No." His voice broke for the first time. "They stop looking for the missing one." I looked at the impossible grey section beneath the radio equipment room. "Why are you calling me?" "I don't know." "You knew what Nina would do." "I remember her doing it." "Tell me how to stop it." "Don't let them confirm the face." A crash sounded from the service corridor. The caller said, "Hale cuts her left hand opening the panel." Officer Hale swore. She stepped into view holding her left palm. A sharp edge had opened a red line across it. The caller whispered, "That's where I started remembering your side." The call ended. The building map now showed a narrow compartment behind the radio racks. Radio Core B. The original paper plans showed a solid wall. The digital plans listed the compartment as existing since construction. Hale and her partner removed a maintenance panel. There should have been concrete behind it. Instead, their torchlight revealed bundled cables descending into a narrow black opening. Cold air moved out of it. The dog planted its paws and refused to approach. I remembered the reflection on the sleeping monitor. Thin face, flattened hair, one side pressed against something. The room had appeared on my map first, then on the elevator. Now there was an opening in a wall I had watched maintenance workers drill into for years. I ran to the server room. My badge failed. My fingerprint failed. The manual release would not turn. I pulled the fire alarm. Alarms sounded in the stairwells and lobby. Inside dispatch, nothing happened. No bell, no flashing lights. The system logged that the missing subject might be interfering with emergency infrastructure. The center switched to backup power. Every monitor went black except the screens showing my case. Behind me, the elevator chimed. Its doors opened. B. Subject location. The corridor lights shut off one at a time. The only remaining light came from the radio room. Hale climbed into the opening. Her partner held a torch through the gap. I stood beside him, close enough to feel heat through his uniform. Hale's voice came from behind the wall. "I've got someone." Nina covered her mouth. The younger officer crouched and reached inside. Together, they pulled the man into the room. He wore my uniform. He was thinner than me, but not by much. Black insulation dust covered one side of his face and collar. Red pressure lines crossed his forearms in the pattern of bundled cables. A deep headset groove ran above his right ear. A radio cord was wrapped twice around his wrist. He held a mobile phone. My mobile phone. I checked my pocket. Mine was still there. The man opened his eyes. He looked at Nina, then Hale. His eyes moved past them and settled on the space where I stood. It took several seconds, but he saw me. "I kept telling them I was upstairs," he said. Hale asked for his name. The man swallowed. "Daniel Mercer." The CAD chimed. "Possible match located." I moved to Nina's console. The cursor responded to my hand. I typed, "Do not confirm identity." The message disappeared. The duplicate kept watching me. Hale scanned his fingerprints. The reader processed them slowly. The man on the floor raised one hand toward me, then stopped. "I think I called you," he said. Nobody else reacted. The scanner beeped. Match confirmed. Daniel Mercer. Nina looked at the incident history. My warning had returned as a caller note. Missing subject requests identity not to be confirmed. "Did you enter that?" Hale asked the man. His eyes remained fixed on me. "I don't remember." For a few seconds, the status stayed unchanged. Possible match located. I touched Nina's arm. She shivered but did not turn. I tried to type again. The keyboard no longer moved beneath my fingers. The status changed. Located. Identity confirmed. The duplicate blinked. His attention shifted away from me. Nina knelt beside him and said my name with relief. The incident closed. The room returned to normal. Air conditioning, keyboards, police radio, the dog's nails against the floor. I touched Nina's shoulder. She moved away from the cold spot. The operations door opened before I touched it. So did the lobby door. It was as if the corridor were empty. Outside, the sky was beginning to lighten. I watched an ambulance take the other Daniel away. Nobody saw me leave. By morning, the security footage showed him working at my console before disappearing at 12:55. At 1:07, the emergency call arrived. After that, the cameras showed equipment moving by itself while staff and police searched the room. There was no footage of me. The official report said that Daniel Mercer had been found inside a decommissioned cable chamber after suffering confusion and exposure. The building plans were updated. Radio Core B was listed as part of the original communications infrastructure. I had worked there for 6 years. I had never seen it. I went home. My key turned in the front door, but I heard voices before I opened it. The other Daniel was in the kitchen. He wore my clothes and held my mug. My sister's voice came through the speaker on the counter. My dog stood beside him, tail tapping against the cabinets. I knocked on the window. The dog did not react. I hit the glass harder. The duplicate looked toward the sound. For a moment, his eyes stopped where I stood. Then he lowered the blind. My bank account rejected my password. My email address no longer existed. The staff portal listed Daniel Mercer as active and on medical leave. I tried calling Nina. The screen showed her name and number. The call failed. Subscriber not found. I called my sister. Same result. At the top of the screen, where the carrier name should have been, it said, "Emergency calls only." I did not dial 911. I selected Nina's contact again. Then I heard the emergency connection tone. A woman answered. 911, what is the address of the emergency? I could hear another dispatch center behind her. Radios, keyboards, someone coughing several desks away. I didn't call you, I said. There was a pause. A CAD chime sounded on her end. Then another. I tried to warn her not to touch the incident. I told her not to assign a unit and not to trust whichever location appeared on her map. She stopped speaking. Behind her, a chair rolled back. Then the dispatcher said, very quietly, "That's my name."